Something heavy was pressing upon his eyelids. Now he could see the out of doors. Something heavy was pressing upon his eyelids. He felt them tremble, and then he managed to get them open. It was light that he felt, the bright sunlight of an afternoon. He blinked and considered impassively the blue sky and the brilliant edge of the sun that he could see through his window. He decided that they were real. He moved a hand, and with the movement he felt a curious strength flow within him, as if from the air. He breathed deeply. There was no pain. With each breath he took, it seemed to him that his strength increased, his flesh tingled, and he could feel the delicate weight of light and shade upon his face. He raised himself up from the bed so that he was half sitting, his back supported by the wall against which the bed rested. Now he could see the out of doors. He felt that he had awakened from a long sleep, and was refreshed. It was late spring or early summer, more likely early summer from the look of things. There was a richness and a sheen upon the leaves of the huge elm tree in his backyard, and the shade it cast had a deep coolness that he had known before. A thickness was in the air, a heaviness that crowded the sweet odors of grass and leaf and flower, mingling and holding them suspended. He breathed again deeply. He heard the rasping of his breath and felt the sweetness of the summer gather in his lungs. And he felt also, with that breath he took, a shifting somewhere deep inside him, a shifting that stopped something and fixed his head so that it would not move. Then it passed, and he got, so this is what it is like. It occurred to him that he ought to call Edith, and then he knew that he would not call her. The dying are selfish, he got, they want their moments to themselves, like children. He was breathing again, but there was a difference within him that he could not name. He felt that he was waiting for something, for some knowledge, but it seemed to him that he had all the time in the world. He heard the distant sound of laughter, and he turned his head toward its source. A group of students had cut across his backyard lawn. They were hurrying somewhere. He saw them distinctly. There were 3 couples. The girls were long-limbed and graceful in their light summer dresses, and the boys were looking at them with a joyous and bemused wonder. They walked lightly upon the grass, hardly touching it, leaving no trace of where they had been. He watched them as they went out of his sight, where he could not see, and for a long time after they had vanished the sound of their laughter came to him, far and unknowing in the quiet of the summer afternoon. What did you expect? He got again. A kind of joy came upon him, as if borne in on a summer breeze. He dimly recalled that he had been thinking of failure, as if it mattered. It seemed to him now that such thoughts were mean, unworthy of what his life had been. Dim presences gathered at the edge of his consciousness. He could not see them, but he knew that they were there, gathering their forces toward a kind of palpability he could not see or hear. He was approaching them, he knew, but there was no need to hurry. He could ignore them if he wished. He had all the time there was. There was a softness around him, and a languor crept upon his limbs. A sense of his own identity came upon him with a sudden force, and he felt the power of it. He was himself, and he knew what he had been. His bedside table. His head turned was piled with books that he had not touched for a long time. He let his hand play over them for a moment. He marveled at the thinness of the fingers, at the intricate articulation of the joints as 287. He flexed them. He felt the strength within them, and let them pull a book from the jumble on the tabletop. It was his own book that he sought, and when the hand held it he smiled at the familiar red cover that had for a long time been faded and scuffed. It hardly mattered to him that the book was forgotten and that it served no use, and the question of its worth at any time seemed almost trivial. He did not have the illusion that he would find himself there, in that fading print, and yet, he knew, a small part of him that he could not deny was there, and would be there. He opened the book, and as he did so it became not his own. He let his fingers riffle through the pages and felt a tingling, as if those pages were alive. The tingling came through his fingers and coursed through his flesh and bone. He was minutely aware of it, and he waited until it contained him, until the old excitement that was like terror fixed him where he lay. The sunlight passing his window shone upon and he could not see what was written there. Page. The fingers loosened and the book they had held moved slowly and then swiftly across the still body, and fell into the silence of the room.
이 직전의 순간을 섬세하고도 조용하게 묘사한 장면입니다. 해석 요약. 무거운 무엇인가가 그의 눈꺼풀을 누르고 있었다. 그는 눈꺼풀이 떨리는 걸 느꼈고 오후의 햇살이 그의 감각을 채웠고 그는 창밖으로 보이는 파란 하늘과 태양의 가장자리를 바라보며 그것들이 현실임을 느꼈다. 손을 움직이자 공기에서 힘이 스며드는 듯한 느낌을 받았고 숨을 깊이 들이쉬었을 때 고통은 없었다. 숨을 쉴 때마다 힘이 생기는 것 같았고 얼굴 위로 빛과 그림자의 섬세한 무게가 느껴졌다. 그는 몸을 일으켜 반쯤 앉았고 이제 바깥 풍경이 보였다. 오랜 잠에서 깨어난 듯 상쾌했다. 계절은 늦은 봄이나 초여름처럼 보였고 뒷마당의 거대한 느릅나무는 풍성한 잎사귀와 시원한 그늘을 들이우고 있었다. 공기 중에는 풀과 꽃의 향기가 가득했고 그는 그 향기를 깊이 들이마셨다. 그러나 그 순간 몸 안 어딘가에서 움직임이 느껴졌고 고개가 멈춰 더는 움직이지 않게 되었다. 곧 그 감각은 지나갔고 그는 생각했다. 이게 바로 그거구나. 즉 죽음의 순간이라. 그는 에디스를 부를까 생각했지만 부르지 않을 것임을 알았다. 그는 죽어가는 사람은 이기적이야. 자기만의 시간을 가지길 원하지. 아이들처럼이라고 생각했다. 그는 다시 숨을 쉬었지만 이제 몸 안 어딘가 달라진 것이 있었다. 그는 자신이 기다리고 있다는 것을 느꼈다. 이 글은 죽음을 맞이하는 한 인물의 내면적 경험을 묘사한 장면이다. 그는 깊은 잠에서 깨어난 듯한 느낌으로 자연의 아름다움을 감상하며 생의 마지막 순간을 받아들인다. 점점 고요해지는 몸의 변화 속에서 죽음을 예감하며 조용히 혼자만의 시간을 가지려 한다.